So Jason, it's kind of the end of the crop year, getting darn close to it now. You know, as we transition from, trying to maximize yield with inputs and with using the fertility that's already in the soil, we start now to move into, we want these guys thinking about grid sampling as they get into harvest and even before harvest, let's get some things lined up. Do you have a lot of growers right now that are doing grid sampling in our program?
We have a lot of guys that do the grid sampling. I can't manage what I don't know. And so the first thing we got to know is what is our nutrients out there so we can start to manage that first.
Sure. So I'm Tim Mundorf, Nutrient Management Lead for Central Valley Ag, and with me today I've got Jason Kock, our ACS Mapping Center Specialist. And Jason, you've been working in precision ag a long time. So as guys have come into the program and done more grid sampling and assessed soil variability, have they been happy with the results from their fertilizer application?
They've been super happy with both their fertilizer results, with their applications, and also with their yield results. You know, we continue to push that good ground even higher, but we bring some of that lower ground, that tougher producing ground, we push it up just a little bit, and then that makes that overall yield on that farm just light up is what it does. So, yep. They continue to do it, add acres all the time.
Yep, and just like you're saying, the ground varies a lot. You've got really productive ground, you've got some really poor ground, and a lot of guys will think that, hey, if I just throw some more fertilizer on that poor ground, I'm gonna bring the yield up, but oftentimes it's the opposite. That poor ground will have really good fertility because you've been doing that flat rate for years and the crop's not taking it off. Is that kind of your experience as well?
Absolutely, that's one of the first things you'll see is where it's poor, we got higher fertilities. The other thing, both you and I are farm kids, Tim, how many of us, when Dad told us to take the manure spreader out and he knew the bad spot was on the other side of the farm, we made sure we just went right around the shelter belt and then we got back. So we found a lot of that too as you grid sample. Found old farmsteads and, like I said, if you're a good farm kid, that's what you did was you figured out intuitively I wasn't gonna be cold out there.
Right now, we can do a pretty good job of going out there, assessing that fertility, building a prescription that's really all about bringing up the areas that are low in fertility, maybe mining a little bit, like you said, those areas that have had a lot of manure history in the past. We could mine those down a little bit. We don't need to apply full rates of fertilizer there. And by doing that, we just maximize our fertilizer use.
That's exactly right. Maximizing that dollar and that fertilizer that they put out there. And it varies from time to time. We try to do a grid sample every 4 years, and sometimes we pull yield off and we pull a spot down, so we have to make sure we bring that spot so we keep producing that spot, because we do flip those spots too throughout the 4 years just by different varieties, hybrids, corn's becoming more drought tolerant, using nutrients better. We see all kinds of different things happening there.
And there's a lot of variation across CVA's trade territory as far as pH goes, but it's not uncommon to have fields with a 5.5 pH and a 7.5 pH in the same field, and throwing lime on that 5.5 is one of the best things you can do for your future production, and throwing lime on that 7.5 is just a complete waste of money and may actually make what's kind of a problem area even worse.
Exactly. I mean, you and I have both been out on those calls. Growers ask, what can I do? The spot just doesn't yield, or this spot has had, bad weed control. And the first thing we do is poke some holes in there, and we take a sample, and I would say probably 80% of the time it comes back as some type of a pH issue.
And now CVA's got it set up so our field sales agronomists can actually use the precision ag software themselves, develop a application map specific to that grower with the products that work for him. So we make it pretty seamless for our growers. All they have to do is contact their field sales agronomist, and we can just start that ball rolling.
Exactly right. The field sales agronomists can all look at the grid samples through Field Reveal, and they can run the recs. They can also get the Advanced Cropping Systems regional manager involved too, so we can kind of work a program together, because one thing affects the other thing, and we want to make sure when you want to get high yields, you've got to concentrate on the whole package, not just fertility or something like that.
Yeah, and we just want to thank you for watching our Agronomy Focus video.